Today's the day we figure out if I can beat Dark Souls with only miracles. That means no summons, no melee, no magic, or pyromancy. And because I hate myself, I'll also be banning the Estus flask. This challenge will probably start off pretty rough since I don't start with any offensive miracles, but once I get Lightning Spear things should go much easier. On the other hand, the limited uses of each miracle could be a major thorn in my side, but either way, let's begin. This time I'll be starting off as the Cleric since they start with the highest faith stat. I named him Mr. Miracle and picked the Master Key as my starting item. So first off, no. A miracles only run isn't technically possible because you don't start with any offensive miracles. However, if we consider Firelink Shrine as the start of the run, and this area as the tutorial, then that still leaves us with 25 bosses to pass Divine Judgment upon. On the way out, Oscar tries to pass me some Captain Morgan, but as a man of the cloth, I must refuse the offer. I picked up my Holy Talisman, then smited the demon down with my Holy Mace. After its quick death, the crow shepherds me to Lordran where the crusade officially begins. I'm in desperate need of offensive miracles, so this run is going to require some setup. Judas here only sells healing and utility miracles, which does me no good for now. Currently, I only have two options for damage-dealing miracles. I could go down to Pinwheel's Carnival and grab the Grave Lord's Sword Dance, or I can go to the Sunlight Altar and get Lightning Spear like a good cleric. So obviously I go with option 2. I head down to New Londo, cut through the valley of BBL Drizzy, and end up on the backside of Darkroot Basin. I make my way past Andre and activate the shortcut to Firelink just in case. I haven't gone down this path in years, so I forgot about all the rats and this one single hollow living rent-free. This one hollow is the roadblock to my crusade. Second try I use my brain and do the old quit and reload combo. By abusing the enemy's AI, I can get him to take a leap of faith that literally opens up this entire run. I grabbed the white soapstone from a fellow crusader, activated the ladder shortcut, then spawned the red drake so it'll fly over to the bridge. Now I can use its fire breath to farm souls. After leveling up to 25 faith, I can pray at the Sunlight Altar. By chanting dear God, tingle tingle hoy, God would appear, and there he is. What is thy bidding, my master? Thy will shall be done. For my deep and unwavering faith, I received my first offensive miracle, Lightning Spear, and god damn it hits like a truck. Let's test it out on a boss. I already took care of the two clowns up top. First cast does about 1/3 of the demon's total health, and the Taurus demon is struck down by 4 casts of Lightning Spear. Oh yeah, this run is feeling divine. Obviously 10 Lightning Spears isn't going to be enough to carry me through this entire game, so I head off to church and do some jolly co-op for Sunlight Medals. A big thank you to Power Guy, Lamia, Tobik, Rani, Vimea, BD Dean, Weep Black, Piente, and Clacris for summoning me. Took like 3 hours to get 9 summons, so I decided to free Lautrec from his cell and claimed my reward at Firelink Shrine for the final Sunlight Medal. Cashed in my tokens to the notorious GOD, and received Great Lightning Spear for my hard work. I went back to thank Lautrec, but he was smited by Divine Lightning. Now it's time to fight the gargoyles for myself. Great Lightning Spear is godly. Each hit is like a hydrogen bomb versus a coughing baby. Almost won on the first try, but I dodged left into the fire instead of to the right. Second try went way worse, and I also realized how slow these heal miracles are to cast. That'll probably end up being a bigger issue for the later bosses. But the third try I put in a little effort and got the win with almost no problems. I was also blessed with the Gargoyle Helm for good luck. I climbed up top and rang the first bell of awakening. With the first bell out of the way, I ran over to Darkroot Garden, picked up the Elite Knight set for some much needed poise, then eviscerated the Moonlight Butterfly. On the way back, I showed off my Olympic javelin throwing to Havel. He was so impressed with my skills that he gave me his ring as a token of gratitude. Now onwards to the Chupacabra demon. All I have to say about this fight is these dogs can go straight to hell. They're so small that Lightning Spear can overshoot them if they get too close to me. What really butters my bread is this wall is a hungry bitch and will eat my Lightning Spears. Now the cherry on top of this shit cake is the dogs being able to box me into a corner here, so I do a quit and reload and get my ass out of there. I walked right back in and got hella lucky. I smite both dogs immediately. Then I remembered I can pull humanity out of my ass to heal up. Once the dogs are out of the way, this is one of the easiest fights. All it takes is 3 Great Lightning Spears to purge his ass, and he drops the keys to the depths. More importantly, Rhea and her companions have arrived at Firelink Shrine. She'll be very important for this run later on. Down in the depths, I gave my divine punishment to these cannibals, freed Laurentis like a good Samaritan, fought my way through the rat horde and Chuck E. Cheese himself, slid down to access the shortcut, then spun the block with Kirk. While down here, I took the opportunity to farm the Basilisk for Eyes of Death. I only need 7 because I can get 3 more in the catacombs later on. Now it's time for the Gaping Dragon. And like most dragons, he is deathly allergic to lightning. It's said that dragon slaying is knighthood's highest calling, but once again I take 0 damage, so I am woefully disappointed. To make it worse, I said fuck Blighttown. I wasn't in the mood that day, so I crawled my happy holy ass back up to Firelink, then made my way down to the catacombs, purged a Titanite demon and grabbed the Eyes of Death from behind him, hopped into this cozy little coffin, then waited an eternity for this cutscene to trigger. Now I can pray to the sarcophagus, and join the Grave Lord's servants for a free miracle. I turn in my 10 Eyes of Death and get a second miracle as a bonus. Went down to Vamos and smited him for being a skeleton. Why did he explode like that? Either way, I got a cool hat for it. So this is the earliest I've ever done Pinwheel and the hardest fight I've had against him yet. Anyways, he dies in 4 hits. Now I could save Rhea, but it's too damn dark down here. And I've seen the type of shit that lurks in the dark of this world. So I climbed my way back up and took the back door to Blighttown. At the bottom I face off against Quayleg. Being the daughter of a witch is a good enough reason for me to smite someone. This spider vixen didn't know what she was up against. We went face to face missionary style. My rods of lightning deal more damage than she can handle, and after 1 minute of praying, she taps out. With Quayleg out of the way, I can now ring the second bell. I have nothing important to say about Sen's Fortress, so we're skipping straight ahead to the Iron Golem. I touched an angel's halo and get raptured away to Anorlando. They say you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, but here I am missing every shot I do take against this damn gargoyle. The second gargoyle goes much easier, but how the fuck did I miss this hit? Fucking how? Anyways, I picked up the Ring of the Sun's Firstborn. This bad boy increased the damage of all my offensive miracles by 20%. Now it's time for the Anorlando archers. Unlike my mother, I dodged a double penetration of arrows, and got the Silver Knight blocking the ledge to switch to melee. He smacks the taste out of my mouth mid-cast, so I returned the favor with a second lightning spear, just to get sniped in the back and I thought it was game over. Luckily, God is on my side. I get back up, hit the jets, and just as I turn around for another lightning spear, the Silver Knight purges himself. Now that is poetic justice. In the mansion, I remembered I could hardcore parkour over this railing for a shortcut. I met up with my onion boy Sigmire, and cleared out a room full of loitering knights for the homie, then made my way to Ornstein and Smo. I kinda want Ornstein's armor, so we gotta kill Smo first. And god damn, that's some thick damage. All it takes is 5 regular lightning spears and Smo goes down easily. Now it's time for Super Ornstein. I knew Ornstein would be the harder of the 2 bosses, but I didn't expect the damage to be this terrible. Even if all 10 Great Lightning Spears connected, that would only be 890 damage, out of 2,981. If I throw in the 5 remaining Lightning Spears, it wouldn't even get him down to half HP. So I died, and on the next attempt, I tried Ornstein first. Unfortunately, I bumped into the same problem even though he has less HP in his base form. It would take everything I have to even get to Phase 2. But Slander, why don't you use the Grave Lord's Sword Dance that you went out of your way to get? Why, you ask? Because it's fucking ass and takes way too long to cast. Even if it did fully cast, it would probably miss anyways. I deserve to be bludgeoned to death for taking this miracle into a fight. At this point, I was like, shit, what do I do? I either need more damage or more miracles. I'm already at 40 faith, so I decided on more miracles. And the only way to do that is by going backwards. So I had to sad Spider-Man walk my ass all the way back to Firelink. And yes, these bats do work in reverse in case you were ever wondering. First, I take a detour to Darkroot Basin and get rid of a little Hydra problem. I could still hear Phil yelling in my ears to get up on the Hydra's back. With the Hydra out of the way, I can now kill the Golden Crystal Golem and set Dusk free from her Vor prison. Across the lake, I can now summon her as a merchant. Doing so causes her outfit to spawn, but more importantly, the Crown of Dusk. It increases the damage of spells, miracles, and pyromancies by 20%, but decreases magic defense by 30%. I might need it for some extra damage, but I prefer not to use it because it looks dumb as fuck. Finally back at Firelink, Sigmar hooks me up with a new miracle, Emit Force, and it actually slaps. Back in Boneville, I died a few times and stare into the void. I was trying all kinds of shit on the TV to see if I could make the area brighter, but no luck. So I had to do it the hard way and take it one step at a time. But I'm insane, so I said fuck it wee ball, hopped off the side, landed onto the correct ramp, and slid into Patch's DMs. Patches here asks if I'm a cleric and I boldface lied to the man. He sees through my clever ruse and kicks me down the pit 300 style. Down here I find my mentor, my guiding nightlight. Rhea is also down here and warns me about 2 fierce hollows who have strayed from the one true path. I pass my divine judgment upon Rhea's ex-companions and she tosses me the replenishment miracle for a job well done. Back up top I killed Judas, then bought Rhea's entire stock of miracles, but most importantly Wrath of the Gods.
Then be safe. Farewell, Nox.
Sorry Rhea, I don't speak Italian. With the Mid-Force and Wrath of the Gods added to my divine arsenal, it's time to finish off Anorlando. 3 uses of Wrath of the Gods is able to get Super Ornstein down to about half. But even with all my lightning spears, I'm still not able to pull this off. So I quit out and formulate a new plan. I swapped out lightning spear for a mid-force. It has the damage I need, but here's the downsides. It's slow to cast, has so much short range, and Super Ornstein can dodge it. But it is possible. Normally I'd talk about each failure, but there's so many and I don't feel like narrating all that shit. As we learned before, Wrath of the Gods can get Ornstein down to half HP on its own. It hits like a truck and is very quick to cast. My biggest problem with each attempt has been trying to find openings to cast the mid-force. The one reliable opening I did find was rolling through his legs when he does his two-handed horizontal swing. That gives me enough time to cast the mid-force and keep it within range to deal damage. My other problem has been healing. I either don't have enough heals or they take way too long to cast. I mostly have to get lucky and hope Ornstein stays away long enough for me to get a chance to heal. At this point, I'm tapped out, and it's all or nothing. I popped him with a bubble just to get skewered then fried. I returned the favor with a quick spirit bomb of my own. Ornstein fakes me out with a delayed upwards cut, leaving me with a sliver of HP. He misses the short jab and ends up taking a point blank of mid-force. And with a backwards jumping slash, Ornstein leaves himself open for my final mid-force. That was fucking awful. I walked into Guinevere looking like this. I'm not sure what I feel, but it isn't happiness. More like a deep-rooted black spot that will forever taint my soul. At least I have access to warps now, I guess. I also joined the Simp Squad like an idiot, because I thought that the miracles that required you to be a part of this covenant healed you for more. Turns out they heal the same amount, except it heals your friends too. I don't have friends. I teleported back to Firelink so I could place the Lord's Vessel. Now I can unlock 3 limited edition flavors: Caustic Caramel Cream, Horrific Hazelnut, and Mutating Marshmallow. I decided to finish off the catacombs. On the way down I picked up the Darkmoon Sentence Ring for some shenanigans later, and blasted Paladin Leroy with Hotto 63. I take a 50% health tax upon entering Nito's lair. Trying to get damage in on Nito is actually a challenge. My slow-casting miracles leave me wide open to the skeleton mob, and they are strong enough to stagger me. I mostly have to rely on Nito to kill them for me, but I can blast them away with Wrath of the Gods if they gang up. This fight really came down to the wire. Nito lets out a high-pitched scream, and like always Gravelord's sword hits, leaving me with a sliver of health. One hit from anything could easily end me, but Nito goes in for the diddle hand. Not gonna lie, these skeletons rolling around gave me a heart attack, but with one final lightning spear, Nito goes down. Now it's time to upgrade myself from cleric to bishop. I cast myself into hell, woke up the ceaseless discharge, and put his ass back to sleep with a lightning spear to the skull. Further into hell, I emitted my force all over Kirk. Then used what I learned from the bow-only run to trap the demon Fire Sage. Once it's trapped behind its wooden prison, it has no other choice but to be purged. Up next is the human centipede. I went straight to my normal fighting arena after the bullshit in the last video. Wrath of the Gods quickly disarms the demon, and like most creatures, removing its arm makes it less of a threat. Wrath of the Gods plus a mid-force easily dispatched this hellspawn. On the way to the bed of chaos, I commenced the witch hunt and sent Kirk to the afterlife for the final time. Solaire contracted syphilis, causing him to go fucking insane. I put the Crusader out of his misery and picked up the Sunlight Talisman to carry on his legacy. Blah blah blah, Bed of Chaos' ass and I hate her. You've heard it before. I managed to destroy both growths on my first run, but slowly slid down to my demise. It's not exactly the boss that I hate, but it's the run back. They could have put a bonfire next to the fucking stairs. Look at it. There's literally room for a bonfire. Anyways, I get bitch slapped, knocked out of the sky, I even rolled off the log. Once inside, she tries to use the Pillars of Fire, but Wrath of the Gods knocks her out.
I absolve you of your sins. You have been forgiven.
Over at Seath's library, I destroyed a crystal golem for a broken pendant, and challenged the immortal dragon god Seath. Then I left. Yeah, you can just walk out of this fight apparently. Unfortunately, you still have to die to Seath, and as I learned, it only counts if you die inside the room, so I ran back and died for real this time. They dragged my ass away to the dungeon where I mid-force all over the place and earned myself a key. With the key in hand, I escaped my cell and the guards turned on some god-awful music. Like, this blaring noise was one of my least favorite things about the game. I blasted my way through the area and shut off that god-awful noise. I climbed my way out, and with my newfound sense of freedom, I lit a bonfire and enjoyed the wonders of Giant Crystal Cave. But at the bottom is Seath. I wish with all my heart to fly with dragons in a land apart. Silly man-eater, how did you get in here? Once again, Seath was super easy. Unlike Pokemon, Electric is strong against Dragon. I really don't know what's been up with Seath lately. All he does is flail around, then dies. Back home, I take the crow back to Undead Asylum, and hop down into the mosh pit to fight the stray demon. It wouldn't get his fat ass off the wall, so I wasn't able to run behind him and dodge his attacks. The second try I do the unlock and run around strat, then Wrath of Gods his ass out of existence. I picked up the miniature Rainy because the plain doll was out of stock, then took the crow back to Firelink. I decided to get the painting world out of the way. And nothing too noteworthy happens here. I parkoured my way through, blew apart the less cool than Demon Souls phalanx, then contemplated my life. After showing the Bone Wheel's divine wrath, I spin the Wheel of Fortune and win an open door. Now I can fight Priscilla, and this is a nice place you have. She isn't much of a real fight, so she gets blasted out of existence. Remember when I picked up the Dark Moon Sentence Ring? This is our ticket into Femboy Hooters. This too is the will of God. But it's not like I was getting my ass whooped here or anything. If I get hit by his blue balls, it's gonna stagger me and probably kill me. I actually had to use my brain for this fight, and ended up using the pillars to block the multi-balls attack. Then ran out whenever he used his big spell or arrows to get close. Unfortunately, I have to give him the old divine punishment. What a waste. I decided to head over to Sith, but since the Hydra is dead, I'm gonna take the long way around instead of paying that bullshit 20,000 toll road. Fucking hate toll roads. But instead of listening to that rant, let's fight a dog. Massive size, guards the grave of someone corrupted by the abyss. That's good enough of a reason for me to cast Divine Judgment. Sith actually got in some good hits on me. Like we've seen before, Lightning Spear and Heal are slow to cast, which gives Clifford enough time to run up on me. But I threw the ball too hard and Sith never came back home. What a sad day. Now I could kill the 4 kings, but it's DLC time. I get grabbed by the local goth girl and whisked away through space and time. Good god, look at this unethical foul beast. It needs to be smited. So first off, I deal less damage than expected, which does not bode well for the rest of this DLC. Most of this fight is just me circling to the left or to the right, blasting off miracles in between. I didn't expect the Guardian to use me like a springboard, triple somersault, and stick the landing for a perfect 10. Now that was a sight to see. One to the butt and one to the head, the Sanctuary Guardian is fucking dead. In the Grove, I learned that Princess Dusk has been kidnapped by the darkness, and much like Obi-Wan, I am her only hope. I just ran through the forest, I didn't feel like fucking around with it this time. A knight who walked too far into the abyss, body and soul corrupted by the darkness, left arm mangled from countless battles, and he's fucking pissed that I killed his dog. Artorias comes out the gate swinging, ready to fuck my day up. Mid-force does less damage than I was hoping for, but Artorias takes decent damage from Great Lightning Spear. His lunging thrust gives me enough time to heal or to make an attack of my own. I'm able to throw in a couple lightning spears when he buffs himself, unfortunately I can't cast them fast enough to stagger him. Letting Artorias fully buff increases both his attack speed and damage. I ended up backing myself into a corner of this circle and Artorias laid my ass to rest. After my death, I decided to level up like crazy so I could wear that swag-ass paladin set. Next attempt, I go all in on Lightning Spear. It quickly deletes 1/3 of his health by the time he finished buffing. I ran around like a clown until he decided to buff again, and got in my free damage. He hits me with the Leapfrog and I pop him with Wrath of the Gods. I throw in another for good measure. Artorias thinks he's hot shit going in for the 180 combo. Every bit of it misses me and I go in for the Lightning Spear just to get ran through by his sword. One Lightning Spear would end this, and he dodges it. I go in for another, but the sin of greed bites me in the ass. I spent 2 minutes running back to the fight because someone decided putting a bonfire next to Chester Bennington here would be too much of a task. The third attempt goes mostly the same, except this time Artorias made me look like a bitch by using the tried and true method of pocket sand. Alright, enough dicking around. After dodging his lunges, I made sure to take a few steps back before casting to avoid that shade throw. He goes in for another giant leap, but I easily sidestep it. I threw him a banana-flavored runs for a nice attempt at killing me. Then popped him with Wrath of the Gods. Knight moves to e4, bishop takes knight. With Artorias out of the way, I can now lay my divine justice across this unholy land. I picked up the Wolf Knight's silver pendant to ward off evil, killed this abomination of a chest for the crest key, then made my pilgrimage through the dark, and freed a young wolf before facing the abyss. Then I had a divine revelation hit my brain. I can just use humanity to heal. I did it for the Chupacabra demon, and completely forgot I could do that. In my defense, I have like 8 intelligence. I am not a smart man. Now it's time to face our inner darkness.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it.
Is that a fucking deer? An elk? Nope, definitely a moose. His big hand slams give me just enough time to attack or to use a healing prayer. Manus is a massive sack of hit points, hailing in at 6,665 HP. Why they didn't go for the quadruple 6, I'll never understand. Getting Manus to around half health makes him go buck wild. He creates a ring of destruction that must be deflected with the silver pendant. He goes in for a second volley and my slow reaction with the silver pendant causes me to take massive damage, with Manus finishing me off with the grand slam. If there's anything I learned from round 1, it's to press the attack button mid-roll to prep my cast ASAP, and to take a few steps back during the animation to get some distance. I got him close but decided to heal instead of dodge, then got punished twice for it. Overall, Manus is actually a fair fight, you just have to take turns attacking each other. Let's try this again, but with feeling this time. If I'm far enough away from his melee frenzy, I can get in a free hit or two. I narrowly blocked a point-blank Dark Orb barrage. I tried to give him the old Wrath of the Gods special, but the second one missed somehow, so I had to settle for a mid-force, but it gets the job done. You know, if I had a nickel for every time I fought a dragon in Dark Souls where you had to die to it first before it actually counts, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. Now I can talk to Vincent van Gogh and have him snipe the bringer of calamity out of the sky. This fight starts off pretty rough. I go in for Lightning Spear, but Calamite slams his face into me. I tried to heal with humanity, but my character said no. What the fuck do you mean no? Thanks to the bow-only video, I have a better understanding of the spacing needed to avoid Calamite's attacks. But every once in a while, he mixes in some melee to throw me off. You'd be surprised with how much time he gives you to attack or heal. I tried to pierce the flames with my lightning, but ended up face-tanking every bit of the attack, knocking me flat on my ass. Most of the fight is just me baiting out his unholy fire, then slamming him in the face with a thunderclap. At this point, one hit would kill either of us, so we both go in for our final attacks. Calamite nearly misses me, but my lightning spear strikes true. And with that, the black dragon has been slain. With all major threats killed in the DLC, I speak to Elizabeth and she hooks me up with some god's flesh for a job well done. Back in the present, I learned that my faith in God isn't strong enough to hurt ghosts unless I'm cursed. I ventured into the flooded city, hit the big boom, picked up the key to the seal from Slave Knight Gale, then parted the Red Sea. I decided to head back to jail to pick up a second talisman. Having 2 talismans equipped has no extra benefit, but I like to pretend it does. Back in New Londo, I hop into the Abyss to fight Weezer. This was the easiest 4 Kings fight I've ever had. My poise is too great and my damage too big. I was knocking them out so fast I was just twiddling my thumbs waiting for the next one to spawn. And with 2 quick casts from Wrath of the Gods, Weezer gets sent back to the shack. I handed my assortment of enchanted chocolates and opened the gates to Valhalla. After the ass beating I got in the last challenge, I'm not feeling too confident I can beat Gwen. He's fast as hell and probably won't give me the chance to cast Lightning Spear, but let's do this. I'm struggling to find an opening. I know as soon as I cast, I'm opening myself up to get violated. I finally popped him with Lightning Spear and the damage is ass. He catches me mid-roll and hits me hard with the Yes Daddy. The man stays on my ass like the IRS. On the plus side, Wrath of the Gods does big damage while casting fast enough to keep me out of trouble. With all 3 casts, I can deal a little over 1/3 of his HP. Because Gwen is strong against lightning, I took the risk and started throwing in a mid-force. Like Wrath of the Gods, it also deals magic damage, since holy damage wasn't invented until Elden Ring. So what I learned is that the bubble may appear big, but the hitbox is actually small. The damage is decent when it does connect, but Gwen catches me mid-heal and scorches my ass with a flaming thrust. Second try I got benched so fast it wasn't funny. I didn't even get to do anything. Gwen is pulling out some advanced level bullshit. Suddenly he can change directions while in the air. I got this weird big damage hit with the mid-force. Could someone please explain? Normally it hits him for 445. This is the one and only time it hits him for 623. I did the math and that's a 40% increase in damage. Did I hit him in the head? Can miracles even headshot? Anyways, I need to use a mid-force in order to win this fight. I either take damage trading blows, or Mr. Zonka no Tachi here jumps out of the way of them. After getting him down to around half, I hit him with a nice 1-2-3 hit combo of God's Wrath. Sometimes when you throw Lightning Spear, Gwen will miss his swing since you hunch over while throwing. God bless these hitboxes. I got really lucky with these last few Lightning Spears. He missed his Leaping Slash, failed his grab, just stood there and even traded hits with me. It comes down to my final Lightning Spear. You now face godlike judgment. May it extend eternally. And with that, the Lord of Cinder has been purged. I'll be holding a poll after this video to let y'all vote on the next challenge. And I'm going to take a break from making these challenges for a little bit. They're stressful and very time consuming. But like always, I appreciate anyone who takes the time out of their day to check out this video. It really does mean a lot to me. Be sure to give a big thanks to my best friend Junior for helping me write this script and keeping me motivated. While you wait for the next challenge video, check out some of our Let's Plays. Watch us lose our minds in Mario Kart Double Dash, take down some massive creatures in Shadow the Colossus, or have a wacky time in Pokemon Infinite Fusion. But until then, take it easy, and I hope to see you all in the next one.
I'm Lord, everybody knows my name.
You are the Lord, everybody knows your name.